Joining us now in the studio with more on the unfolding clashes in Jerusalem is Dr. Ely Karmon, a senior researcher at the National Institute for Counter-Terrorism in Herzliya. Thank you so much for coming in.
Hello.
So let's begin. You know, these metal detectors that we're seeing the Israeli security forces build at the Muslim entrances of the Temple Mount, how do they change the status quo at the Temple Mount, if at all?
I don't think they changed the status quo. They changed perhaps the political atmosphere. The problem is that they are good for this situation in these days, but when we will have a full 100,000 people which come for the Friday prayer, I don't think they are useful. It can provoke incident, a huge incident. We had in Mecca in Saudi Arabia 2 years ago, 2,400 people were killed by a stampede because there was no possibility to enter a place at the Hajj. So I think it's, I'm quite sure that the Prime Minister Netanyahu will decide this evening to dismantle the magnetometers.
Right, which is interesting because we're not hearing many people say that they think it's going to be ineffective. That's You're one of the first people.
I want to stress the hypocrisy of the Arab leaders, the Muslim leaders, because 4 weeks ago there was an attempt of a suicide bombing in Mecca, in the holy mosque of Mecca, and King Abdullah of Jordan condemned strongly this incident and also expressed solidarity with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, while he didn't say anything about a holy place of where there was a terrorist attack, and which is the responsibility of the Waqf under Jordanian rule.
Well, now, and didn't Saudi Arabia install metal detectors following that attack as well?
Even before, because a year ago there was an attempt, also suicide bombing, at Medina, the Prophet's Mosque. So you see that there's a lot of hypocrisy. Hundreds of thousands of Muslims are killed practically these years in mosques in Pakistan, Yemen, Iraq, Syria, and we don't hear anything from our
Well, now
Muslim
let's talk
leaders.
a little bit about how the United States is going to be more involved, you know, in this specific issue. Do you think the U.S. is going to take more of a role in this issue?
I think they were already mediated, and the Saudis probably passed some kind of message. And the Saudis, by the way, are very quiet about this incident, if you pay attention to it. So they are involved behind the scenes. I think they condemned strongly the incident. At the same time, they asked the two parts to be very cautious about the situation and try to achieve some kind of agreement.
Now, you know, the Waqf is tasked with overseeing the rules of religious observance at the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Temple Mount compound. And Israel's tasked with security services. So doesn't Israel have the right to install these types of security measures in the first place?
Isn't it their duty?
Again, it's a very political decision. It's not only operational. Because of the very sensitive relationship between us and the Palestinian Authority and the Jordanian government, which are under threat by other internal problems, not only the issue of the Palestinian conflict. And so we must be careful not to take steps that can provoke such kind of if you want, not uprising, but violent manifestations. Again, here you see that the Muslim leaders in Israel, those of the in the Knesset, but also the Islamic movement, which is responsible for the incitement. In 2000, before the Second Intifada, they built an underground mosque, huge one, under the Al-Aqsa Mosque, practically endangering the construction itself of the mosque, without any exception from the Israeli authorities and even of the Waqf in Jordan. So there is a lot of hypocrisy and cynicism in the political attitude of the Muslim leaders in Israel and also in the Palestinian Authority.
Well, thank you for joining us, Dr. Ely Karmon.
Thank you.